All right, down here in the bottom middle, a member of the team MVP. He's kind of scary, some might say. He is
MVP Monster.
Maybe hiding under your bed. Watch out. His opponent at the top center, a member of the team OGS, just recently got out of the army. He is
GSTL, the STC.
Now, what they, and I don't know if you guys caught that, remember it's not just OGS here today, it's GSTL. TL, of course, standing for Team Liquid. It's a great website, teamliquid.net. You should visit it, check it out. It's great for foreigners. I know all of you guys listening to this broadcast, or at least the majority of you, are foreigners. This is the foreign stream. So definitely, if you've never heard of Team Liquid, go and check it out. Visit it. There's a lot of great news posts there. Also, calendar, all sorts of useful things. I won't talk more about it. You guys should go find out for yourselves. We see gas first here from the STC. And of course, it looks like we're going to see a hatch first from Monster.
It's pretty standard on this map.
Yeah.
So the rush distance is fairly long. The downside to that is you don't really see many 2-Raxes in this kind of positions. But people still do it. It's just a little bit easier. Like, it's still hard to defend, but it's still a little bit easier to do it. So they feel a little bit more brave when doing this kind of stuff. His Overlord, of course, positioned to see anything that's going to come in through there.
Exactly. So he's going hatch into pool. Pretty normal. Now, back at the STC's base, his barracks is finishing up here. His gas is at 100. Going to make a factory, obviously. Now, what I'm wondering is he going to do reactor Hellions? Because that seems to be the trend right now. I think it's almost certain that he will. Kind of curious to see what he's going to do, though. He is actually just now sending his SCV scout out. Not really going to be able to tell by that drone where his opponent is scouting from. And, of course, doing the build that he's doing, it's a build that kind of works against anything. It's a catch-all build. It's a solid opener, so he's not really worried about what it's going to be. And there goes the reactor down on that barrack. So it is going to be reactor Hellions. What do you think about this build Unstable? It's a build that we've seen a lot more recently. We saw a long time ago, then it fell out of popularity, and now it's coming back. What do you think about it?
Well, it's more to catch people off guard than anything else. Of course, STC did use them to Hellions to great effect last game. But it really comes down to scouting information here for Monster. So he's seen what's going on, at the very least. And it just, as long as he can keep him out of his main and not freak out when it happens, he should be okay.
Absolutely, and not freaking out. I know it sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
Not freaking out, that's the key. That actually is the key. Staying calm, being prepared, blocking off your ramp, making sure that your drones aren't exposed. That's all it takes to really kind of shut this opening down. That being said, the starport is finishing up here. He did see the factory, the drone scout did, but he did not see the reactor. But even so, he's got a good idea of what's going on. This is a very popular build right now. It's been used a lot. I'd be very surprised if he didn't prepare. Back at home, he's added a few links. He started Zergling speed. He's actually still droning, though. Now he absolutely knows what's going on. There's no longer any doubt in his mind. And he's just now putting that spine collar down, so I'm starting to wonder if he didn't actually kind of read what was going on when he first went up there.
Yeah.
He only has one queen at his natural as well, so it's going to be relatively difficult to defend.
Yeah, the queens don't do really that much damage to the Hellions, so it's difficult for them to actually throw them off. Of course, he does get in there, see that there's that spine crawler. He's actually brought an SCV with the Hellions. Nice job by the STC there. Creep spread, of course, going through as fast as he can to get as much vision. He really needs as much intel as he can, of course. We do see a Banshee in production with these 4 Hellions coming down the front again.
Yeah, he wants to try to pick off as many of these links as possible. But with that spine call, even though it was a little bit late, it's a really good position. It can hit everything from the left or the right of it. The links get spread, they block the ramp. There's no way the Hellions are really going to do a lot of damage. He has made a command center behind all of this as well. Now the Banshee is coming out. He's going to try to harass that drone line. Again, there's only 1 queen at that natural. In fact, right now, there is just still only 2 queens out. I take it back, a 3rd one did just arrive. But even so...
Those combined with the Hellions can really be frustrating for a Zerg to actually keep his cool and multitask effectively to defend it. Otherwise, if he slips up even slightly, there is a big chance that pretty much all his drones are going to die.
Very true, and this creep tumor Does get taken out. Nice move there by the STC. If you can kill one creep tumor, it's always worth it.
Banshee coming in here now, getting a couple of hits off on these drones, going to the drones rather than the queen. He's going to back off very shortly. There we go. On red health.
Does kill 4 drones though, and that's pretty significant. The key is he kept the Banshee alive. Forced an Overseer, exactly. Yeah. That's a lot of gas. That's something that's not really useful at this given time. And Overlord actually tried to come in and scout the base of the STC during all of this. Was killed, was not able to see anything, and also supply blocked him. So.
I believe he also kept that SCV that repaired the Hellions earlier up near the front, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him repairing that Banshee.
And in fact, he is. We'll get a shot at it possibly in a second. That same Banshee being repaired. There it is.
There we go. Viking coming across to try and get any stray Overlords as well. Very frustrating. So the STC's build here is all about frustrating.
Exactly.
Monster, which is really good. Oh, unless he runs his Viking through the middle of the base.
Well, he wants to see the Spire, and he will see it because he is going to turn over here to the right. So that's pretty huge. Does see that Spire. Obviously, hunting Overlords is good. Now, he can just send that Viking out, repair it, and then do his Overlord hunting.
Yep.
Running some errands there with that Viking. The Viking knows how to do it, so he can get everything done with just one trip, you know? Well, actually, in this case, 2 trips. So
still got those Hellions parked at the front of the base, so there's no real information gathering coming in from Monster now. All he really has is those Overlords, which of course are being picked off now by that Viking, and now he's completely in the dark.
Well, he actually just sneaked some Zerglings out right after you said that. He was like, I'm not in the dark, watch this, and he runs a bunch of Zerglings by. Now, unfortunately, though, these Zerglings aren't going to be able to see a whole lot. They're going to see a decent amount of Marines.
With a Banshee coming into the main, I'm sorry to cut you off, he's getting quite a few more drone kills. It is, of course, the same Banshee getting 8 kills on it now. It's going to get even more. And this harass by STC really causing a lot of damage.
Yeah, looks like that Banshee now has a total of 12 kills. She may be taken out, just barely escapes. The Mutas, though, will most likely chase her down. Now, during all of that, some Zerglings did run into the natural of the STC. Saw his composition. Saw basically just 2 tanks, a ton of Marines, no combat shields yet. Also saw medevac. These Hellions may get caught here. Looks like they will just barely escape from those Mutalisks. But those Mutalisks are coming to the main, where there are going to be 2 missile turrets in place, but the Marines not quite there yet.
He does look like he does have them placed fairly effectively. We do have Stim Marines coming in to chase off those Mutalisks now. So now it's kind of turning the tables. Those Mutalisks are out. STC has to be careful. He's still keeping that Viking and Banshee alive.
Doing a great job. Both of these guys really strong builds. I thought that Monster's defense was possibly a little bit weak, but he actually did a great job of what he had. Now he's going to try to come in here with these Mutas. Well, he tried to get a reactor, but was not able to. Will get these Hellions, though. A small victory. No, those Hellions are like, no, you cannot catch me. Of course, they do get chased down. Now, this little push by the STC, I say a little push, it's kind of a lot. He's going to force all these Banelings. Third base of Monster just went up, so he's invested a lot into that right now. Doesn't have Baneling speed just yet. He's going to have it in a second, but I'm not sure if it's going to be done in time. And in fact, it will not be done in time. Not the best split by the STC, but just good enough. So he cleans up all those Banelings, and now Monster's kind of in trouble.
The Viking and Banshee are coming back. There's quite a few Mutas in production here, but oh, very close, almost. There we go. He comes back, does try and pick them off. Loses that Viking, but there's still those 2 Spine Crawlers at the front. It's there for him. Does throw down a scan to get rid of these creep tumors.
He wants to get rid of those tumors, obviously, to reduce the amount of Banelings that can really do serious damage to him. Nice moves here, picking off a tank. May get the medevac. We'll get the second medevac. Oh, no, he won't.
Oh, he's actually stopped the Mutas on top of that. Zergling's coming in as well from the bottom.
This is what I like to call choking under pressure. He's freaking out here. He's making all the wrong choices, running back and forth. His Mutas taking so much extra damage.
He lost like half his Mutas there.
Yeah. And now he's going to scan, run forward here, try to take out these Spine Crawlers. But he does leave his tanks vulnerable here for a second. Those Marines getting very low on health.
There is, of course, only 1 medivac there to heal them up. Looks like he's going to move forward. Actually, no, just backing off.
Yeah, I think he wants to rejoin the rest of his army, then push again. He's got that 3rd command center up, so he's going to attack again with a bit larger portion of his army as he takes that 3rd base. A pretty smart move. He's going to want to heal up all those Marines. No upgrades just yet. He actually just now started his +1 infantry weapons. Right now, of course, his opponent Monster does have +1 air weapons. I believe has Carapace as well. Nope, does not. So the Mutalisk count hasn't really been able to get up to that scary number. There's only 11 Mutas out right now. It's about to be 13. But with this small of Mutas, the counterattacks aren't as scary. You can put up a few turrets. You can just kind of leave a few units at home and still push. So he doesn't really have that scary number that forces the STC to turn around just yet. That hatchery is going to have to be canceled. Does get that cancel off. But there's a huge Speedling run by. Coming over here. And the depot is down. He just barely closed it in time, but I don't know if he has enough units.
No, he doesn't have enough Marines to help with those units at the top there. Stimming all his Marines back. A lot of those Lurklings actually got taken out by the tanks before they could get in there. The dropships a little bit out of position. Are going to be taken out by these Mutas if they don't back off. There we go. Chasing all those Mutalists out. Really just bought him time.
Exactly. And even though he didn't have the scary number, the SDC just didn't have enough turrets. He didn't leave enough Marines at home. It's going to be very annoying here. Attack the command center, the balance damage, of course. Maybe take out an SCV or two. And it looks like the SDC may just ignore this. No, he is going to deal with it. He thought about ignoring it.
He really needs to keep that third command center alive.
Absolutely.
Because Monster is, of course, on his 3 bases right now. He's looking to take his 4th, as we just did see him get denied that. So SDC is going to be very careful. He is starting to lose the supply lead now. Even though he had such amazing harass, he needs to punish him really quickly for that.
Absolutely. These Mutas are going to run over some Marines maybe in the middle of the map. Loses 2 Mutas. May lose a 3rd. Almost loses a 3rd.
Yeah, scan does go down.
He's running forward here. He wants to do damage. +1 weapons finishing. Right now, the armory's starting back at home. Little drop over here. Takes out a queen and some drones.
Yeah, does get the queen, but he's going to go for a run by yet again by the looks of it. There is a few units here, but the Muta count is what's going to hurt him. Looks like he's just going to ignore it and go straight down the throat here.
Yeah, we may have somewhat of a base trade scenario. Mutas and Speedlings crushing through with some Banelings as well back at the main base of the STC. There's no way he can really defend this. But I don't know if Monster can actually keep all of his bases, and he doesn't have any drones.
Well, he does have quite a few Banelings back home there, but it's going to be difficult. Here we go. Here come the Banelings.
The tanks are on siege. Oh, that may have been the game-losing unsiege right there.
Yeah.
I think it is.
All those Marines. That's one critical mistake, and the game is over, most likely.
Yeah, GG. That's it. Whoops. If his tanks were sieged up, he would have killed the Banelings, and then, of course, he would have tried to kill all the hatcheries. Like I was saying when I was saying there was no drones, I didn't mean there's like no drones on the map. There's no drones outside of his base, so if he just made sure no drones escaped, he would have been able to win that game, most likely.
You did see a little bit of cracks here and there with his Mutalisk control, but he handled the harassment well. He lost a lot of drones, was managed to keep up with it, and just punished the SDC for that one mistake. He just saw them on siege, just went.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the STC is the egg that you cannot crack, but Monster kind of cracked it. He just kept pushing him back over and over and over again. And he just kind of got the STC to that one point. Everyone who plays against Zerg and plays against Mutalisk knows what I'm talking about. You just get to that point where you just say, I can't turn around anymore. I just have to go. Like, he's killed some SCVs, and I come back, the Mutas are gone. This has happened 3 or 4 times. And if I try to just sit back and macro, I'm just too far behind. I just have to go. And he said, I have to go, and he went. And that's why sometimes you see base races against Mutalisk, because sometimes you do just get to that point where you have to go.
Yeah, that happens. So we are tied up 1 apiece now between GSTL and MVP.
Yep.
So here we go.
I think we may see, I don't know. To be honest, I just don't know.
Don't know.
It's really hard to say. We could see Huck, I think, possibly come out here, but his PvZ has sometimes been considered his worst matchup, although he's improved it a lot recently. I think maybe his PvT right now is not the matchup he wants to play. We'll see, though. His PvP has been showing a lot more promise recently.
I think if we do see him, we're going to see him 3rd or 4th. If we do see him, of course. OGS do have the option to use the Team Liquid players, but it really comes down to the team strategy. Of course, they do live with them. They practice with them. It's kind of like the same team, almost.
Yeah.
So it's down to the team strategy.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Now, we could see someone like Supernova come out. Supernova's really well known for his TVZ. Can't count people like him out. We could also see Top come out. His TVZ is pretty good as well.
Yep.
And it looks like the map's loading up. It's going to be Tal'Darim Altar.
Tal'Darim.
Let's find out who the player is going to be. Is it going to be Huck? Oh. Oh.
It's top, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Huh?
It's Nada.
Oh, wow. How did I screw... How did
Well,
I
it's
do
because
that?
Top, I think, was sitting in that seat.
Yeah,
You
he
didn't
was
see
sitting in
his
that seat
face.
before.
Yeah, but that is Nada.
Yeah.
And Nada is someone I thought they might save. It looks like they want to send him out now. Nada, a player of all killing teams. Maybe not MVP, but he is capable of doing a lot. Look at that list. You know, we saw some of the list of the players we saw earlier. They didn't look that impressive. Well, look at that one. That's pretty impressive. And that doesn't even include a lot of his results. But obviously, as you can see, he's played in Code S every season since it's been around, consistently making it at least to the round of 8, and sometimes making it, well, except last season. I'm like reading down the list, I'm like, consistently, except this time, actually. But he's done it consistently well. And look at his win rate, 20 wins, 10 losses, that's 66.7%. That's pretty impressive, given that he doesn't play against bad players. He's in Code S. So, you know, if you have a win rate like that against some players who aren't as good, sometimes that doesn't happen. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we get back, Monster versus Nada.